Dear students, welcome to our YouTube channel Vidya for Success. In this video, we will be studying continuation part of theory on the lesson Biological Classification. Yes, now let us talk about eubacteria. So eubacteria is nothing but true bacteria. So these are the one more members of bacteria belongs to the Monera kingdom. So why they are called as true bacteria? So true bacteria will be having cell wall. So cell wall is rigid in case of true bacteria. It will be made out of peptidoglycan or muramic acid. So this is very important regarding the cell wall. So the component of cell wall in the eubacteria is peptidoglycan or muramic acid. So cell wall is very protective in nature. It is giving complete protection to the inner component present in the organism. That means the inner genetic material and cytoplasmic region will be completely get protected from the outer region by a rigid cell wall. Then one more structure can be seen in eubacteria is flagellum. So you can notice in the diagram. So on one end of the bacteria you can see the presence of long whiplash structure, that is the flagellum. So flagellum helps in locomotion. So whether the bacteria present in water or it is present within the other organism, so movement of flagella helps in locomotion. So the locomotory organelle present in eubacteria is flagellum. So these are the few important character can be noticeable in the eubacteria. Then where this kind of bacteria are present, what is the habitat of eubacteria? So eubacteria is actually habitat to everywhere. That means it is ubiquitous in its distribution. So some members of eubacteria, they are present in soil and some are present in air and some are present in water and some are present within the living organism. So like this, everywhere we can see the presence of eubacteria. So if you take mud in your ant, so an ant full of mud consists of thousands of bacteria. That means the bacterial number is more and they are present in each and every habitat. Then how do they survive in their habitat? What is the nutrition? So nutrition is very essential for the survival of bacteria. So each member of the bacteria, they show different mode of nutrition. So some of the members, they are photosynthetic autotrophs. So photo means light, synthetic means to prepare. So photosynthetic autotrophs, they are able to prepare their own food material by utilizing sunlight. So sunlight is very essential for few members of bacteria to prepare their own food material. So the best example of photosynthetic autotrophs are cyanobacteria. So cyanobacteria are habited to soil and some are habited to water, and they are capable of preparing their own food material by utilizing sunlight. Then another group of bacteria is chemosynthetic autotrophs. So chemosynthetic autotrophs, they utilizes chemical substances to prepare their own food material. And such a groups are called as chemosynthetic. Chemo means chemical, synthetic means to prepare. So which organisms, which bacteria they utilize as chemical to prepare their own food material, they are called as chemosynthetic autotrophs. And one more is heterotrophic bacteria. So heterotrophic bacteria, they can't able to prepare their own food material, so that they depends on other organism for their survival. So here we can see symbiotic organism, or we can see the decomposers, and we can see the parasites like this. So heterotrophic bacteria are divided again into number of different categories based on their food material. So this is the kind of nutrition can be seen in eubacteria. So what we have studied here? So we have studied what is mean by eubacteria and what is the protective covering of eubacteria, then what is a locomotory organelle, what are their habitats, and what are their mode of nutrition. Yes, now we are studying the types of bacteria based on the mode of nutrition. So as I told, based on the nutrition mode, the eubacteria are divided into three different groups. So the first type is photosynthetic autotrophs. So autotrophs are the group of organisms, they are able to prepare their own food material. So photosynthetic autotrophs, they can trap the sunlight to prepare their own food material. So in order to trap the sunlight, the animal need to consist of chlorophyll pigment. So the members coming under the photosynthetic autotrophs, they contain chlorophyll pigment to trap the sunlight and they prepare their own food material. So the best example of members belongs to this category is cyanobacteria, that means blue green alga. So you might have seen in some of the water bodies like pond and pool, green patches will be present on the surface of water. Those are nothing but what? Blue green alga, cyanobacteria. So these are unicellular organisms, that means their body is made out of only one cell. So some members in the cyanobacteria, they live together, that means many unicellular bacteria, they form their own group and that is called as colonies. So the colonial algas are also present in this category and some are filamentous, that means they are present in the form of chain. So best example is nostoc, you can notice in the diagram. So this kind of organism is called as a filamentous, that means each of the cell is arranged one above the other, so that will give the structure of filamentous body. So some are unicellular and some are colonial in nature and some are filamentous, and usually they are habited to fresh water or marine water. And if you see the body of the blue green alga, they are very slippery in nature. So sometime in the rainy season, they will grow in the soil and they make the mud slippery. Clear? Because their surface is covered by a gelatinous sheath. That means a very slippery like sheath is present on their outer surface. So that is very protective. That means that will give complete protection to the inner cell present in this organism. So usually the colonies formed by the unicellular autotrophs, they are surrounded by gelatinous sheath. So because of the gelatinous sheath, the organism got slippery nature. So this is one of the unique nature can be seen in the members of cyanobacteria. So what is that nature? Gelatinous nature. That means the outer sheet, what is there on the organism, that is giving slippery nature to the organism. Then a few members of this group, they can fix atmospheric nitrogen, because some of the cells present in their colonies consist of uh, specialized cells. So those specialized cells are able to absorb atmospheric nitrogen. So you can notice in the diagram. So some of the largest cell, what you can notice in the filamentous nostoc, they are heterocyst. So those heterocysts can absorb the atmospheric nitrogen and they will fix it to the plant. So because of this nature, they are very good nitrogen fixers. So these are the few characters what we can see in photosynthetic autotrophs. They are able to prepare their own food material by trapping sunlight and they can live in colonies, and some are unicellular, they are habited to fresh water and some are habited to marine, and their body is covered by a outermost protective layer called as gelatinous sheath. So that is giving slippery nature to the organism. And in some members we can see the specialized cells. So those cells are meant for fixing atmospheric nitrogen. So the best example of organisms are nostoc and Anabaena. So these two are the members of photosynthetic autotrophs. Yes, then the second group of autotrophs are chemosynthetic autotrophs. So this group of autotrophs, they can synthesize their own food material by utilizing some of the chemical present in their habitat. So the soil bacteria, chemosynthetic bacteria, they are able to oxidize various inorganic substances in the soil. The chemical may be nitrates, or it may be ammonia, or it may be nitrites. So these chemicals are oxidized by the members of chemosynthetic bacteria. So when they are oxidizing this chemical, they will get energy. So that energy is utilized by the bacteria to synthesize their own food material. Clear, right? So best example we can take here is Nitrosomonas. So Nitrosomonas is a soil bacteria. So this will causes the oxidation of ammonia. So after oxidation, ammonia is get converted into nitrite. So by this oxidation, the bacteria get energy. So that energy is utilized for the survival of organism in its habitat. So like this, different members of chemosynthetic autotrophs, they will causes the conversion of different inorganic substances to get energy for their survival. And when they are causing this chemical conversion in the soil, they act as a best recycling agents. That means they play great role in recycling of nutrients. So nitrogen recycle is takes place by the organisms, soil or soil bacteria, and the phosphorus recycling is also takes place by some of the chemosynthetic autotrophs. So I will give you the best example here, Pseudomonas bacteria. So Pseudomonas bacteria is a soil bacteria. So this bacteria will be causes denitrification of nitrate. So nitrate in the soil will be get reduced into nitrogen by the Pseudomonas bacteria, so that the nitrogen from the soil again re-enters into the atmosphere by this process called as denitrification. So ನಮಗೆ denitrification ಆಗಬೇಕಂತ ಅಂದರೆ we need the help of bacteria called as Pseudomonas. So Pseudomonas will convert soil nitrate into nitrogen, so that the reduced nitrogen will re-enters into the atmosphere. So like this, I told you only one example of organism. Like this, many organisms are there, soil or chemosynthetic organisms. They are able to recycle the chemicals from soil to atmosphere, and again from atmosphere to soil. So because of this, they play a very great role in recycling of nutrient in the atmosphere. Then the third group of bacteria based on the nutrition is heterotrophic bacteria. So this group of bacteria, they are not able to synthesize their own food material, so that they depends on some other organisms for their survival. In our last few slides, we have studied chemosynthetic autotrophs and photosynthetic autotrophs. They are actually able to prepare their own food material. But heterotrophic bacteria are the members, they are depends on other organisms for their survival. So here, majority of the heterotrophs are decomposers. So have you heard this name, decomposers? Yes, they are habitat to soil. So in the soil, they degrade dead and decaying organic matter, like dead plants and dead animals are acted by decomposers. So by degrading those things, they will make the things to again re-enters into the soil. So can you imagine the condition of earth without decomposers? So without decomposers, all the dead plants and animals, they could have lie as it is on the earth, right? So we, we could never imagine the condition of earth without decomposers, because they are very useful to us. They are degrading the dead things, dead organic matter on the soil to they will make them to again get enter into the soil. So the best example is Streptomyces and Bacillus. So they act on dead and decaying organic matter on the soil. Then one more example of heterotrophic bacteria is Lactobacillus. So lacto is nothing but milk sugar. Bacillus is nothing but a kind of bacteria. So the bacteria present in milk is nothing but lactobacillus. So this bacteria is able to convert milk into curd. So for converting milk into curd, we will add the previous day curd. Have you seen how your mother is going to prepare curd at home? So she will add previous day curd to the milk. So that curd will be consist of lots of bacteria. So that is actually able to convert milk into curd by fermentation. So curd is one of the product what we are getting by the action of lactobacillus. That means it will ferment milk into curd. And one more this thing is rhizobium bacteria. So rhizobium bacteria is also heterotrophic bacteria. So this is able to fix the atmospheric nitrogen. So you can see in the third diagram, see the roots of plants will be having small swollen structures. So those swollen structures are nothing but nodules. So within the nodules you can find the presence of rhizobium bacteria. So what is the work of this bacteria in the roots of plants? So it is actually getting shelter in the plant roots. So instead of that, the rhizobium help the plant to absorb atmospheric nitrogen, because plant alone can't able to absorb atmospheric nitrogen. So rhizobium bacteria is actually helping the plant to absorb atmospheric nitrogen. So this kind of association is called as symbiotic association, because both are mutually associated with one another. They are mutually benefited with one another. Plant is giving shelter to the rhizobium. Instead of that, rhizobium helping the plant in nitrogen absorption. So this swollen structures can be present in all kinds of leguminous plants. Legume bearing plants consist of this bacteria for fixing atmospheric nitrogen. So these are the three different kinds of heterotrophic bacteria. So by different ways they are depends on some other organism or some other food products for their survival. Then some of the heterotrophic bacteria are parasites. So parasites nothing but disease causing organism. So these parasites are always lives within the body of other organism. So the organism may be plant or animal. So bacteria lives within the other organism and survive there, and it causes number of diseases in that particular organism. So such a group of bacteria are called as parasites. So simply we can call them as pathogens. So disease causing pathogens are known as parasites. So here we can see some of the bacteria are pathogenic to plants. That means they will cause us diseases in plants. So we can take the example of citrus canker here. So citrus canker is one bacterial disease can be seen in the different members of the citrus family. That means a lemon plant, orange plant. So in these plants we can see the citrus canker disease. So bacteria will select fruit, stem and leaf for its multiplication. So it will grow in the form of patches. So you can see in the first diagram. So that is actually the fruit infected by the bacteria. So in that disease, it will form patches on the surface of leaf as well as on the fruit. So when the bacteria will multiply, it will reduce the quality as well as quantity of the product. So automatically yield is get reduces when the plant is affected by citrus canker disease. Then some of the bacteria are parasitic to animals. That means they causes diseases in human being. So best example we can take typhoid. So typhoid is a one bacterial disease, and tetanus is also a bacterial disease. So in typhoid, bacteria, that means Salmonella typhi is a bacteria. So that bacteria will affect one of our internal organ, that is the intestine. So intestine is most affected organ by the typhoid parasite, so that it will totally disturb the normal functioning of our body. because that organism will be get dominated in the intestine, so most of the nutrient get absorbed started absorbing by the pathogen. So by this we will suffer from disease. And like that, one more disease, tetanus. So tetanus is also caused by a bacteria. So uh, like this, in different kinds of bacterial diseases, different organs of our body get affected, and we will suffer from particular disease. Then some of the parasites will feed on the food produced by some other organism. So we can take the example of food poisoning. So food poisoning is actually caused by bacteria. So a species of Clostridium bacteria will cause this food poisoning. That means it will grow on the food. So when it grow on food, it will release some toxic substances. So those toxic substances are responsible for food poisoning. So these are the some parasitic organisms. We can give example for heterotrophic bacteria. That means they are responsible for causing different kinds of diseases in plants as well as in animals.